it's crucial and important that you have already seen, viewed, owned the original shredder package, the manual and the tape that comes prior to this one. This tape is a part 2, so to speak, a sequel. It's designed to enhance your shredding skills already. In the first tape we were talking about the origin of the shredder, the concept of the shredder. This tape will cover many drills, misconceptions, some demystifications, so on and so forth. The shredder has really grown. I mean, it's unbelievable. I never thought that we'd get the response that we did. It's amazing to see. I see it on almost all martial arts communities and forums online. We get hundreds of orders for the shredder package, and I really never thought it would pick up this way. It's an amazing concept. It has yet to fail, and to my surprise, in the industry, in our industry, many well-reputed martial arts instructors, self-defense instructors, reality-based instructors have actually contacted me personally via email or by telephone to ask me if they can incorporate the shredder into their already existing program, if they can actually teach it. And I said, absolutely, I have absolutely no problem with that. Hell, hey, you bought the tape, that gives you the right to use it as you see fit. I'm not here to bitch about intellectual property rights or anything of the sort. However, I do ask, all I ask for really is an honorable mention if you do use the shredder, if you do teach the shredder. Just honor your sources, that's it. Just mention that it came from Senshido, richarddimitri Senshido, and that it's a concept designed by us. There have also been a lot of other instructors who have used the shredder, who are teaching the shredder, without any proper citation. And what they've done actually is they've diluted the concept, changed a couple of things in it in order to make it appear original, and they teach it under a different name. Again, that's fine, I don't care, that's whatever. I'm just saying for the consumer what's important to understand is that this dilution of the concept actually hinders it. And we've put a lot of work into developing this concept. It's been over 9 years now, close to 10 years. It's an evolving concept. It's an evolving tool. And so to take it and just without any understanding of it, take away certain elements is like taking away pieces of a complete puzzle. And I'll give you an example of some of the most rampant things that are going on out there about the bastardization, if you will, of the shredder. It's important for me to note this because you might have bought a tape from somebody who's teaching something similar, and the concept isn't as, I guess, good, if you will. Let me explain. Some of the stuff I've heard of or seen in our industry for people who've taken the shredder and tried to pass it off as their own. Lee, can I borrow you? You don't need the helmet. Okay, now I'm not going to get into the explanation of the shredder. Like I said, you should already have the shredder package for this. But let me explain, let me demystify a couple of things regarding the shredder. Now, a couple of things I've heard. Some people have taken away ear pulling or ripping or trapping, anchoring by an individual's ears. That's faulty. I'll tell you why it's faulty. A couple of reasons. There's 2 reasons why these people have stated it isn't a functional or useful tool as part of the shredder. Now, for one, they state that pulling on an ear isn't functional. I beg to differ. I beg to differ because I've used it, and I've used it in real life situations. So have many of my students. Now, if you grab somebody's ears, you have complete control of them. It's a good anchor. If they pull away, you will rip their ears off. They will come off. That will be psychologically disheartening if all of a sudden I'm trapping him and I'm trying to shred him and do stuff here, and all of a sudden as I'm grabbing by his ear, he pulls away from me, but I've got his ear in my hand, right? So if all of a sudden he sees this and I go, fuck you, and I throw his ear at him, he might freak out and probably take off from there. And if he doesn't and decides to continue fighting anyway, well, what the hell, you're missing an ear, whatever. It cannot hurt you, okay? But it cannot, it is not something that will put you in a worse position. If anything, it'll put you in a better position, and if not, then it'll keep you neutral. Another reason that was stated that ear ripping doesn't work is legal reasons. How do you explain to the law that you ripped another man's ear off? Well, some of these people are teaching the shredder as a lethal force application, basically where they're teaching you how to skull fuck somebody, eye gouge, bite into their jugulars, strike the throat. That's all fine and dandy, but rip an ear off, now you've crossed the line? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, imagine a cop coming and seeing the person who attacked you with his eyes caved in and half his jugular split in blood because you bit into it, and then his ear is ripped off, and he's going to say, oh my God, his eyes are caved in, his throat is ripped off, that's okay, but the ear, buddy, you're going to do some hard time for the ear. It's a contradiction. It doesn't make any sense. Ripping an ear is, first of all, if you want to explain it judicially, legally speaking, it's very simple. I don't know what I was doing, Your Honor. The guy was attacking me, I just grabbed onto him and I started fiercely going gross motor on him. I was defending myself, and I don't know how his ear came off. It could have been caught in my cufflink. Maybe I grabbed it and he pulled away. I'm sorry, I was trying to defend myself. It is a gross motor application. The shredder is comprised of gross motor tools and tactics. Ripping, gouging, tearing, ears. So I really don't think that, judicially speaking, ripping off an ear will be a problem. Another thing is that was mentioned against the shredder in order to differentiate themselves is spitting doesn't work. This is also another misconception. I do agree, and it is true, and I think I mentioned this in the first shredder package. Spitting won't work as far as saliva coming out of your mouth, because during a high stress situation, your mouth will go dry. Adrenal stress conditioning will cause your mouth to go dry. It's normal. However, a dry spit with the sound and the air coming out of your mouth in your opponent's face will still cause a psychological flinch. There's no two ways around it. Go ahead and try it. Grab anyone next to you, dry spit in their face, and see if they just stand there and don't flinch or move. I'm going to do this now to Lee. Nothing's going to come out. Nothing just came out of my hand. Completely dry spit. Okay? So if I'm hitting him and I'm doing this and all of a sudden he looks up at me and I go, whoa, he's going to flinch. That's a flinch. That's not an act. That's not acting. I don't care who you are. If somebody goes while they're fighting you, even if it's dry mouth, it will create the flinch. The sound and the wind are two tactile senses. One of them, actually, the wind will be a tactile sense. The sound will elicit a response. The actual sound of coming at you at such close quarter will cause the person's eyes to close and his head and face to turn around. So spitting is actually an excellent tool as part of the quarter beat response. Simply stating, and I've seen it hundreds of times, if I elbowed somebody and I'm hacking into their face and I've locked onto them. Now if I'm tearing away at his face here, his instinct is to not be there. So he's going to turn his face away, probably from where my hand is. But if my hand continues following this way, he's probably going to turn around and face me at one point. And if he does, and he's right here, if I can see his face, and as I'm ripping into his ear or gouging into his eyes or throwing my knee shots or whatever, I go, whoa, he's going to flinch. And so this just buys me nothing more than a window of opportunity. A window of opportunity, a slight opening to create my next strike. It's just a part of it. To eliminate it is wrong, because if you eliminate something like this, you just took away something out of your arsenal. You just took away a possible aid. The last thing you want to do in a real fight is limit yourself in any way, shape, or form. In combat, there are no absolutes. There are no black and whites. And I'll state this right now. If any reality-based system, martial art, whatever, claims the words never or always, you need to eliminate that system from your training, simply because there are no never and always. Never spit, always knee, always never go, always move to the inside, always move to the outside. The answer is it depends. And so if you start to limit yourself that way, you're limiting your arsenal and your response time. So these are a couple of the things that I find that people have tried to eliminate. Another thing is that they try to eliminate is knee strike, low line striking while you're shredding. Do I need to explain that? I mean, really. If I'm in the clinch, which is where the shredder works the best, extreme close quarters. Let's say, come over here secondly. If, come at me. If I'm in the, here, right, and now I'm in this position, what am I supposed to do if I'm here? Now, if you eliminate ear ripping, that means I will not be thinking of grabbing the ear and trying to control him from here because I've eliminated it from my arsenal. So right here, I'm going to be stuck trying to go back to conventional striking because the shred cannot start from here unless I go towards the front part of the face. The shredder can work on any part of the body, and that's the beauty about it. So if I grab the ear here, and now I can start to get into my opponent, what I'm doing is, besides trapping him, meaning anchoring, locking onto my opponent here, I've got his shoulder and I've got my hands in his face. Now what's happening at this point is that this person will psychologically freak. They're going to be trying to backpedal and their entire nervous system is going to be shooting up here. It's normal because my hand is directly into his face. Now, I will not knee if I am not grounded. That is correct. Don't knee if you're not grounded. Use what needs to be used when it is called upon. And this philosophy helps create clarity in the moment. So to eliminate certain things from your arsenal is downright negative towards you, and it's not going to enhance your survivability. It's not going to enhance your skills. If anything, it'll detract because you have programmed into your mind certain things not to do in certain situations. I will allow myself to do whatever I need to do in order to survive. So let's say I nailed him here, and now my opponent's face is really screwed up because my hands are in his face. I've got his arm locked. I'm tearing into his ear. His whole body is contorted this way. He's losing balance. Now, if I eliminate knee strikes, what am I going to do? There's a lot of things I can do, but why wouldn't I throw a knee here? Why won't I start throwing knee strikes? The knee strike will cause my opponent's nervous system to shift from high to low. And when that occurs, if I knee him and he's going low, this offers me more access to my opponent's targets. And so I can continue on striking him from here. This gives me more stuff to shred, if necessary. It also keeps him closer to me because of the body's natural instinct to react, to double over, or to flinch that way. And so this will also enhance your chances against multiple attackers because it will keep your opponent close. You want your opponent close. The further away from you he is, the worse off you are. Distance creates opportunity. We've said that several times. There's a few other things also that were mentioned, and but I think you get the point here, is that every part of the shredder is a critical part. We didn't just toss it in for no reason. And so this is why I find that people are trying to dilute the concept in an effort to become original with it. They're not, and I don't really see the point in trying to do so. I don't mind. Take it if you can enhance it by all means. Enhance the shredder. Let it become your own. I don't mind, but think of it strategically, tactically, and not with ego. Because once you do it with ego, then you're not going to end up with a decent product in your hands any longer, or a decent tool. But if you do it strategically, then you might actually find ways to enhance it. This is not the end-all and be-all. We're constantly working on it. This is why this tape is also going to exist. We've come up with countless new drills to enhance your shredding skills, and we're going to present them to you here. Thanks, Lee. I get a lot of emails and a lot of questions regarding the bob dummy. A lot of people are asking me, is the bob dummy a really good tool to use for shredding? Yes and no. I'll explain it to you. Let's shift over to Mr. Bob Dummy. Okay. Here we've got the bob dummy. As far as a tool for shredding, it is excellent for one thing and one thing only: tool and target development. A bit of flow. That's about it. I'll explain to you why. It's much better than a bag because it's more or less anatomically correct. Throat, eyes, ears, anchoring, headbutting, elbowing, raking, palm striking, eye gouging. You can flow and shred your opponent from here as much as you want, no problem. The only problem with this is that strictly or solely relying on the bob dummy will actually hinder your shredding. I'll explain to you why. It's not alive. It doesn't react. It's like you cannot replace bag work. You cannot replace sparring with bag work. You cannot replace close quarter dynamics with a wooden dummy. You cannot replace shredding enhancing. You cannot replace a human being with a bob dummy. So if this is your sole tool to work the shredder, you're only going to end up hindering yourself if you strictly remain working with this type of equipment. It's really good, but if I palm strike somebody, they're not going to bounce back and stare at me like this. what's probably going to happen is if I palm strike somebody here, they're going to step back. They're going to probably end up flying back about 2 to 3 feet. If I've got him here and I'm shredding and I'm eye gouging him, and then I'm going into his face and I lock onto his head and I'm elbowing him and doing this, he's not going to stand this way. What will happen is this. Come here a second, Lee. No. What will happen now is if we replicate, we take away the Bob dummy, we take a live human being. Now look at, just step back for 1 second, look at the Bob dummy's reaction as I'm shredding him and doing my stuff here and working him, and then I just start ripping into him, okay? If I'm doing this kind of stuff and I'm elbowing him and I'm breaking him and I'm trapping and I'm hurting him, nothing happens. There's no aliveness. There's no tactile sensitivity. There's no reaction. Therefore, what I'm learning to do is develop a false sense of habit where I'm constantly working up here. And then what happens now is I don't understand the dynamics of energy, grounding, positioning. There's no aliveness. But if I'm working on a real person, I can actually get a feel of what it's going to be like. So if he swings at me and I do this, I'm coming here. Look at the energy here. Look at what's happening. Now I'm starting to shred Lee, and I see how he's trying to get away from me. The Bob dummy doesn't do that. His hands are coming up frantically. He's stepping away. Now we're locked in. Continue. Okay. Now I'm hitting here and here. Here's the knee. We're shredding. Look at the position we're in here. I need to understand how to shred from here. My grounding is off. What are my tools? Well, right now my fingers are in his eyes, and I'm about to rip his upper lip off. Okay? And I've got his head locked into my leg, and his body trapped between my thigh and my elbow. And so what I'm doing is I'm shredding here, and I'm ripping into my opponent. But I'm understanding dynamics. So, is Bob a good tool? Yes, to a certain degree. Should you solely rely on it? No. Is it worth it for you to go out and get a Bob dummy? Well, over here they cost about 400 Canadian dollars. I don't know how much they are in the States. That's entirely up to you to decide. Nothing can replace a live partner. It's unfortunate, but it's true. You're learning how to fight. So you can simulate on a Bob dummy to a certain degree, but that's about it. Tool and target develop. It can only take you so far. And where do you buy a Bob dummy? Local martial arts supply store should be able to get one for you. Check it out online, Sentry.com, I believe. Check it out. Okay? So this should take care of Mr. Bob. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work on some drills. There are a lot of drills we've done to develop the shredder. Nick, come here a second. Now, one of the drills we've developed is that I always tell my students that for the shredder, you want to think of your hands as magnets and your opponent's face a piece of metal. So as soon as you can, magnetically lock on to your opponent's head. Okay? Get in there as soon as you can, providing that the range permits. You cannot shred from here. You need your other tools. So if I'm going to shred him from here, if I want to shred, I need to understand that there are basically 3 types of energies that occur when we're confronted, when we're faced head-on with an attack. The first one is negation, which means that if he's coming at me with something and I end up here, first thing that's going to happen now is I'm going to negate his energy. So what's happening is that, turn around so people see what we're doing, is that clinch me a second. So what happens now is we're fighting force against force. And I need to understand as quickly as possible that fighting force against force for too long will burn me out, both on a psychological level and on a physical level. So it's going to drain your energy. And it's not the most productive thing you can do. I also am not too crazy about using my weapons or tools in my arsenal to grab my opponent's body or laundry. Okay? I kind of like to hurt the person as soon as possible. So the second you realize that you're negating, the second thing you want to do is release that energy, no matter where it's going. Come at me. So if he's coming at me here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release, and now what I'm doing is I'm also redirecting. Okay? And as this starts to happen, the shred occurs. The only reason my hand was capable here of going into Nick's facial area and eye is because of the dynamics of the energy. Something, again, a piece of equipment that's dead can't give you. So now I'm understanding energy because by locking onto his neck, his body shifted, this hand gave. There's no more negation here. I've released, redirected, and now I can enter the shred. Okay? If he tackles me, it's very difficult for people to let loose of old habits. If he's coming in for a single or double leg takedown, a lot of people go for the sprawl. A lot of people go for, and they end up grabbing here, or they try to guillotine the person or lock onto the choke and do this kind of stuff. I'm not hurting him. This will not stop my opponent, especially not in an adrenal stress condition phase. If he's fucking angry or pissed or drugged out, locking on or doing this kind of stuff or wrestling with him isn't going to help me. Even if I've managed to sprawl and I ended up doing this, even if I managed to sprawl, I'm not really hurting him yet. I can only hurt him after. So I would rather understand that my hands have got to find their mark as early as possible in the close quarter situation. So if I'm here and he's coming in, he's going for the double leg takedown, wham! My hands are right here, instantly. Okay? If he's going to swing that punch, boom! My other hand finds its mark. Okay? If he's going to go for a headlock, my hands find its mark instantly. Even if he's locking into the headlock, I will go in there and I will shred. I will tear that shit off. Okay? So it doesn't matter. So one drill that we've come up with in order to get you used to doing this is a drill where your partner will close his eyes throughout the entire drill. And all you're going to do is you're going to grab him in certain positions from different angles. And he, as soon as he can, with his eyes closed, has got to locate your facial and neck areas as early as possible. Okay? So let's say I'm going to close my eyes and Nick will grab me from various positions. Two-handed choke, headlock, one-arm lapel, from the side, grab my arm, tap, whatever. Understand?
Energy or no energy?
Yeah, some energy. But don't make it go full out. It's just a drill. Okay? So now I close my eyes. He's going to come at me and do something. I find his face as soon as I can. So what do? I went right for his eyes and throat. Again. Look at how quickly I'm finding my mark. I start from a neutral position, eyes closed. Okay? Turn around for the camera so that you can see where we're at. This is how I ended up. First thing I do, find my mark. My eyes remain closed. Okay? So all I'm doing is regardless, close your eyes now. Regardless of what position, watch, he's going to do the same. We switch. Regardless of what position, he's just going to find the mark. Okay, don't go for the full shred. Just get your hands in my face. No, it's good. It's good. It's dynamic and alive. Close your eyes. No, it's good. It's good. It's excellent. Don't apologize. So you get the drift. So thanks, man. So all you're trying to do is, no, you can come back here. I'm going to smack you around a bit more. All you're trying to do is get your hands as early as possible into your opponent's face. Don't telegraph it. Don't waste time. Don't waste energy. Have them come at you many different ways. This drill can also get enhanced using weapons and stuff. Lee, can you get the knife from Helen's drawer? Right? So this could also be done with weapons. Now, weapons, the principles differ a little bit. You have to understand the dynamics behind the weapon, the psychology behind a weapon attacker, the dynamics behind a knife defense or a gun defense situation, so on and so forth. However, the drill remains the same. I always want to try and locate my opponent's eyes, my opponent's face and throat. That's all I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to acquire magnetically, no matter what position, where is his face. Now, it's easy to do because we understand we're all humans. We understand we're all humans, that we know where the head and the face are. It doesn't matter what position you find yourself in. If he's grabbing me from behind, well, anatomically I should have an idea of where his face is. Not to say that if somebody's choking me from behind, the defenses do this. It's just a drill. Obviously, there's a lot of other different things I would do here. If he's choking me out, be it go for the hip toss, nail him in the ball, bite his, I don't know, whatever. I'm just stating. You could tool and target develop, that's another story. But for this particular drill, close your eyes. Okay? Now you see he's going into the knife defense stance immediately, right? Which is brilliant. His eyes are still closed. Now what would you do? Keep your eyes closed. Okay? So he went right away, facial attack, grab the weapon hand. You can even bypass this and do it a lot earlier, where if his knife comes up, hands are coming up, that's fine. If you want to take it from this position, good. But if I wanted to go right away, I'd have to feel this. He puts the knife at my throat, hands come up, I get my hands right in his face. Trap the knife, get the hands right away, get in there, hurt the person. So this is a drill you can do to enhance your shredding skills. Because you'll find that when you're sparring and things get dynamic and alive, you'll instinctively, from doing this drill, start to locate your opponent's facial areas and throat areas. Remember, they have to be acquirable. You cannot do this if they're not acquirable. You can't do the drill like if he's out here, and let's say he's extend out a jab to my face. Okay? You can't do things like this where it's like, it's ridiculous. Remember that the shredder is a close quarter, extreme close quarter tool. There's another drill we developed. It's what do we call it? Facial grappling? I'm horrible with names. We have no, something like that. Eh? Actually, I'll use Lee for this. Now, how this works, you've got 2 goals and 2 goals only, both you and your partner. Goal number 1, acquire your partner's throat and facial area. Don't shred. Don't simulate shredding. Just acquire it. So let's take it here a second. So all I'm trying to do is get my hands in his face or around his throat area. Nothing more than this. I just try to maintain and acquire the facial area, the throat, the head, the whole time. Goal number 2, don't let your opponent do it to you at the same time. You can see how dynamic and alive this becomes. There's a lot of energy here. So goal number 1, acquire the facial and throat area. Goal number 2, don't let your opponent do it to you. 3 goals. Goal number 3, once you've acquired it, maintain it as long as possible. Now, obviously, I don't want it to turn into something like this where he's got my face and and we're doing this for 5 minutes. So you can't, it looks ridiculous. You can't let your opponent do that to you. You cannot have your opponent's hands in your face or throat area. Give yourself a 3-second leeway. Longer than 3 seconds, you're fucked. So take their hands away from you. Now, this will instinctively teach you how to position yourself both offensively, defensively, working from the clinch. And you're going to see that no matter what your opponent does, you'll always be able to acquire it. But at the same time, you're learning defensive skills instinctively and intuitively. Because it's one thing to theoretically state, well, let's work defense, put your head here, put your head here, put your head here. It's not dynamic, it's not alive, it's theoretical. But if you're actually doing it, it's a whole different story. Okay? So Nick, pay attention to what we're doing. Nick has never done this drill before. So pay attention to what we're doing because you're going to be doing it with Lee after as I explain stuff. So what you're doing is you start off in the clinch. I'll put my hand on his shoulder, he puts his hand on my shoulder. I'll put my other hand like so, he puts his other hand like so. So we turn around and it looks like this. Okay? It's a semi-clinch. I can go for neck control, so can he, whatever, but we're starting here. It's a neutral position for the both of us. No one is in a better position than the other. The goal now, acquire the face and throat area while not allowing your partner to acquire yours. If it hits the floor, it hits the floor. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You end up chest to back, you end up chest to back. The drill doesn't stop. How long is up to you? You can give yourself 3-minute rounds, 1-minute rounds, start off for 15, 20 seconds. Do it for half an hour if you want, doesn't matter. It's also better to do it with many different people because you want to work with different sizes, weights, strengths, so on and so forth. This will enhance your shredding skill by tenfold. Once you do it, you'll see exactly what I mean. It's an incredible drill. It's also going to burn you out. It's an exhausting drill. So conditioning is definitely a part of this. So you start off like so, and it looks something like... actually, I'm going to do slow motion a little bit, just to give you an idea, and then we'll get into it. So what I'm trying to do is let's go slow, okay? So I'm trying to get into his face as he's trying to get into mine. Now you see tactile sensitivity plays a role here, and I'm trying not to let him. And we're working really slowly. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to keep going, But we're going to pick up the pace. So we'll slowly pick up the pace, as we go along. Okay? All right, keep it going. Break. Get the idea? You get the idea? So basically, right?
Yeah.
Exhausting. Muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance, wind, so on and so forth. Now, also, tactile sensitivity. This exemplifies our 5 principles of physical retaliation. Non-telegraphic movement, economy of motion, the ability to interpret my opponent's energy through the sense of touch, the ability to locate my closest weapon to his closest target. This drill has so many phases to it. Now, the very first one was the one we were doing it slow. Second one could be all out, like we ended up doing it. You're just constantly trying to find and not let your opponent yours. You'll see that it's not too easy to do. It's not a simple drill, especially once your partner and you get used to it. It will really dramatically enhance your shredding skills, your close quarter skills in general, even your grappling skills. My God. Now, imagine we switch the drill around a little bit. You can go, my goal now is to get my hands and acquire his facial area and throat area. His goal is to try to take me down at any and all costs, working from the clinch, or you can even work it outside the clinch. Be creative with it. There are no boundaries to these drills, as long as you're maintaining or replicating reality in order for you to understand the neuromuscular response and control that you have in a real fight. Because if it doesn't replicate it, you won't really accurately know what you will or will not do. So we can work from the clinch. Now, Lee's goal is to take me down to the ground. Several ways he can do it. He can shift in mid-motion. He could do it grappling-wise. Overhooks, underhooks, hip tosses, single leg, double leg takedowns, reverse hip toss, so on and so forth. He can try to do it street-wise. Fucking barrel through me, grab me, toss me, tackle me. He could do a combination of either or. Doesn't matter. My goal, don't let him do it. Maintain my stand-up position and always try to acquire his facial area and throat area the entire time. So we start in the clinch.
So at the same time, I'm still trying to get you out of my face, right?
Yeah, you can try to get me out of your face too, but you're not going for my face.
Yeah.
You're strictly trying to take me down. Okay? But this gives you a good idea of energy, footwork, and dynamic tension. How to work with that, because you can't work it. You can't work it static. You can't work it theoretically. You can't hooba your way through this stuff. You need to understand that energy. You need to sweat like I'm doing right now for you. Okay, so we start here. Go. Keep in mind, keep going, that I'm not shredding him. I'm just putting my hand in his face. Right? So, at no point, how does that feel?
It's weird.
In one sense, like what did you get out of that?
Not much. I mean, I was trying to take you down. I couldn't really do it fully.
Okay.
But to take you down, like I kept having to bring myself down first, you know.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work.
Yeah. You just get a handful of face. Yeah. A face full of hand. A fist full of dollars. Basically, again, my hands always trying to find their mark. It's really aggravating just to have this. Just this on its own right now, I'm sure it's pissing him off. Of course, he can't breathe either. Right? This is annoying as it is. Now, the energy is coming in. He's going for takedowns. I'm doing this. This alone is enough to intercept his emotional tenseness, his physical dynamics. Now, if I was actually ripping his ear off, ripping his eyes out, look at the difference now. Grabbing the ear. Can you do a zoom in here? And my hand, my fingers, are directly into his eyeballs. So you can imagine if I was actually doing this and clawing in here while I'm ripping this stuff off here, right? How that would immediately intercept the dynamics and the energy. For the drill, I'm just doing this, no more. So he's trying to come in. You can add to this now. Another drill you can do from here is add weapons. And then you could, well, obviously, there's the alternating. You switch. I try to take him down, so on and so forth. Now, we like to work on 1 millimeter of carpet and concrete underneath it. Because a couple of times when we hit the floor here, I felt my knees. I felt the scraping. It's not comfortable. I start to understand that this is not cement friendly. It's not the best place to be. You do drills like this enough times on concrete, and you start to instinctively and intuitively understand you don't want to go there. You do it on a mat or in a ring all the time, your brain won't have the files or understand the dynamics of the pain when a kneecap hits concrete and scrapes on asphalt or cement or whatever. It's different. A couple of times I was semi-mounted on him, trying to get my hands in his face. He's fucking trying to get me off. My knees are doing this on the concrete. It's not pleasant. And so I start to understand now how to intuitively position myself in order to remain as comfortable as possible, in order to injure myself the least amount of times as possible. But if I don't do this, and I'm always training on a mat, my body won't know how to protect itself from the environment intuitively or instinctively. So it's important to do it like that. I don't believe in training on mats. I'm not crazy about the idea. I like to do it on the floor. Okay, so another drill, Nick, do you get the idea? Another drill I'm going to be explaining as they're doing it. Another drill that goes as follows. Now, Nick will have a weapon. Okay? Turn around. Conceal it. So he's concealing it. Lee doesn't know where. Lee, turn around. They're going to start in the clinch position. Okay? Now, hold on. Nick's goal is to do two things. Try to take Lee down to the ground. Same thing that me and Lee were doing. He's trying to take Lee down to the ground. Not let Lee put his hands in his face. Okay, stop him from doing that. Because instinctively and intuitively, this is what somebody will do if you try and shred him. They're going to panic, attempt to defensively disengage, backpedal from you, and remove your hands from their face. So you need to understand how that feels. If you don't, you're not really understanding shredding. So his goal, Nick's goal, is not let him get his hands in his face. Try to take him down as hard and as fast as possible, any way he wants. Grappling skills, streets, anything, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Plus, at any time Nick wishes, he can pull out his knife and go fucking apeshit on Lee. Anytime he wants. Okay?
Am I allowed to attack him? To like go into his face?
No.
Okay. So just
No.
takedown?
Takedowns?
Or use my knife?
Defense, takedown, or use your knife. Now, when the knife comes out, I'm going to instruct Lee. I'm instructing you, Lee. I'm instructing Lee to be able to basically defend himself from the knife any way he can. At that point, we can simulate, where he could continue on putting his hand and doing a shredder simulation, but don't let yourself get cut as much as possible. Okay? Don't hammer his head and do all that stuff. Just keep maintaining and
For the
control the
purpose
knife.
of the drill, am I allowed to, like, if I see him or feel him?
Absolutely. Now, excellent question by Lee. Is he allowed, if he sees Nick, go for the knife? Absolutely. Intercept intention to action. If he telegraphs and your tactile sensitivity picks it up, don't let him pull the knife out. There's no reason why in a clinch somebody's hammering you and doing stuff, should he be doing anything like this, reaching for anything. If this happens, you need to intercept immediately. There's a lot in this drill. There's a lot. But this is why you have it on tape, and you can rewind and press pause and take notes. Okay? So basically, let's give that a shot. Okay? Helen, be ready to move.
Yeah.
Go. Now Lee's trying to acquire Nick's face as much as possible. He's not shredding. He's just simulating. The knife came out. He maintains it. He keeps his hand in Nick's face. He's keeping the knife. Good job. Nick is trying to take him down. Lee's hands are still across trying to get to his face. Now you see how dynamic and alive this is? Look at the control. Lee still has the knife in his grip. He doesn't have a choice here. He has to maintain it. And at the same time, he's keeping his hand in Nick's face as often as possible. And break. That's beautiful. That was excellent. Wish we had multi-camera angles. Took a shot in the nutsack. Excellent. Wear a jock strap when you do these drills. So, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Now you see how this works? At no point during this entire melee do you have the time? Could you think? Could you cognitively process anything?
No, you're just reacting.
You're just reacting moment to moment.
Yeah.
There's no way, and this is why we say techniques don't work. There's no way here that your brain or your mindset, that your mind is going to communicate with your body and tell it to do a specific move or tactic. No way. Too high stress, too dynamic, too alive. And this is simulation. This is a fake knife. We're friends. We're training. Imagine a real life fight. You're not going to think V grip, C grip, block this way, block that way, jam here, put this, trap that. Impossible. There's no fucking way. You can't. It's too dynamic. Somebody's fucking trying to do this to you. You're not going to do this or this or this or this. It's just not going to work. You just have to react moment to moment. Based on what? Based on concepts. What are the concepts that you were working on when you're doing this? Yes. Name them off. Instinctively, what are you doing?
Tactile sensitivity, trapping the knife, getting into the face.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's about all
Not going
that you
to
can
the
work
ground.
on. Because concepts are interchangeable and transcendable. Basically, don't let the knife cut you in certain areas. Jam it. Grab it if it's anywhere near you. If it's not, attack. Get your hands in his face as soon as possible. Debilitate. In this situation here, could you have armbarred? Rear choked?
right up against the wall.
You can't. Can you perform any kind of kick, punch, solid elbow? Too close. Keep in mind, close quarter. Any type of striking, when there's so much energy, requires torque, distance, grounding, not present in here. This is where the shredder comes in. Okay? Excellent. Any questions? Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to add to this. Can you go get the other knife from Helen's desk? It's a rubber one.
No, it's not there.
It's not there? Just get a knife from the equipment room. So what we're going to do, you can see how prepared we are. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the same drill, but we're going to alter it a little bit. So it's amazing how many things you can do. So you're going to alter. I'll have a concealed knife. He'll have a concealed knife. We start from the clinch. Again, same thing. We both have the same goal in mind. We go back to the original drill. Come back, Lee. We go back to the original drill. The original drill is try to get your hands in your opponent's face and throat while not letting him do it the same to you. But now an added element. Each of you have a knife. It's going to be concealed. You don't know where it's going to be. So you're both going to turn around and conceal it. Okay? You're going to get into the clinch. Now, the only time, and this is critical, the only time you could pull the knife out, is when you're in control. Meaning, if I got my knife, he doesn't know where it is, because, well, he's blind. We're here. So we're starting in the clinch like so, right? Now, if his hands are in my face and he's doing this, this is simulating a shred. So I will not have the sense of spirit to do this. Okay? So I have to get his hands off my face. The only time I can pull my knife out and use it against my partner or my opponent is when I'm in control. When his hands are not in my face and he's defensive against me, meaning he's trying to get my hands off his face. Now if I want, I could pull my knife out. So you cannot, and state this with your partner and keep it clear, you cannot pull your knife out if your partner's hands are in your face.
If I have a solid trap and I'm not shredding?
You can pull it out, yeah. But he cannot have his hands in your face.
Okay.
So if he's going defensive, pull it out.
Okay.
Either of you. Those are the two elements. Knife can come out only when you're in control. And the other goals are, conceal guys, the other goals require your partner's face and throat. Remember, you're not shredding, you're not squeezing, you're not ripping, you're not simulating, biting, ripping here. You're just doing this. Facial acquisition, that's it. Throat, facial acquisition. That's all you're trying to do. Magnetic force field. Ready? Go. The knife came out. He got slashed a couple of times around the rib cage. Still maintaining control of the knife. He's got his hands in Nick's face. The drill doesn't stop. At any time, if Lee wants, he can also pull out his knife as long as he feels he's got enough control, which is what's happening now. Nick realizes this. Now look at this. Break. We broke. Distance split. If distance splits, break, come again. Unless you're moving into a completely different aspect of the drill. You can take this as far as you want. Again, this can get as dynamic as you want. You might end up breaking here, and if you want it to continue, hell, fuck it, continue, go for it. Now it's knife against knife. Continue from there. But for the purpose of this drill, and what we're doing today for the shredder enhancer, we're going to stop if it splits up. Okay? How you guys feel?
Okay.
Exhausted? Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, it becomes at the same time almost knife defense. Again, I believe there's another misconception about the shredder. Somebody out there said something like, you cannot shred with knives, or if a knife comes out. Again, hogwash. Pure bullshit. It's impossible. How can you not shred if a knife comes? Why the fuck not? Best time to do it. You're in extreme close range. Unless you're out here, then it's 100% correct. If he pulls his knife out, and he's fucking coming at me and we're doing a knife dynamic, I can't shred him from here. I'm not gonna, impossible. But fuck it, man. If I'm over here, he pulled his knife out, and for whatever reason I jammed and I've got him locked here, what am I gonna do? Hip toss him? Knee him? Elbow him? That's not gonna stop him. I got a crazed fuck with a knife trying to hack me. Fuck no, I'm gonna shred him. What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna rip his ear off here. Why? Judicially? Legally speaking? I'm afraid? Fuck it, he's got a knife. I'm not ripping your fucking ear right off. I'll bite you, I'll fucking eat you alive. I'll fucking send you home in pieces, you mother. Right? I don't give a shit. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So I'm going to get in there, and yeah, absolutely, I'll shred. Because the shred here is about the only thing that will stop my opponent. If I get into this, I might not be able to knee. Too much energy. A knee strike might not even stop him. I need to have grounding, distance, and torque to be able to hurt him with a proper strike. There's no way he's going to freeze there and go, wait, and allow me to do an elbow here and throw a knee or do some kind of palm strike or an uppercut to his chin. I got to shred. So absolutely you can shred against the knife. You can even shred with the knife. If I've got the knife, for whatever reason he's got a knife, I've got a knife, very unlikely situation, pass me a knife. Highly, if this happens to you, fucking move from the neighborhood you live in, damn it. So, if you end up in situations like this, fuck, if I'm here, and I've got my knife here, I'll fucking bite him, and I'm gonna fucking start shredding whatever I can, and hack whatever the fuck I can with my knife. And what's the concept of the shredder here? It's the fucking corner beat now, where it doesn't leave him. I'm constantly moving in and slicing. Because why? I don't want to do this. Because if I'm grabbing here, if I'm pumping slash, his other hand, what's he doing? He's reacting. So what I'm doing is my knife is going to be in him, and I'm just going to travel and shred as much as I can. Can I fish hook him with my finger, with my pinky shirt? Can I bite him? Can I spit? Whatever. I'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. There are no rules. There are no absolutes. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Don't give yourselves conditions for anything. Our philosophy has always been, do what needs to be done when it is called upon. Everything has its place in your arsenal. Everything. And so use it when it's necessary. In other times, don't. But if you try to cerebralize it and cognitively process it where you go, well, now it's got to be an elbow, and now it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Let's continue. So now, we add stuff to the drill. Nick gets the knife. Actually, Lee will get the knife this time. Okay? Lee can try to take Nick down, stab him, strike him anytime he wants. Punch him, elbow him, knee him, kick him, fucking do whatever. But you can't shred. Okay? Conventional striking.
Yeah.
Okay? Conventional striking, takedowns, stab him, do whatever you want. Turn around. Conceal the weapon. Come back. Next goal, same thing. All he has to do is just get his hands in his partner's face. Maintain it. That's it. Face and throat. And at the same time, don't let him hit you, take you down, stab you, whatever. Ready? Go! Wow. I wish we had an angle for that. Thank you. Break. Good job. Wow. He trapped your arm with his leg. It was totally instinctive, I'm sure. He was going for the knife. As you were falling down, your leg felt his arm and locked it on his own body. I know, but this is what I'm talking about, intuition and instinct. You're doing without cognitive processing, because you understand, because the concepts are there, but the technique isn't. This is not a technique, trap the arm with the leg. It's not something you can teach. It's just something that the body knows to do.
I don't even know where the knife was.
I know, but he was doing this. It's the weirdest fucking thing. I've never seen anything like it. He was going down on the ground. As you guys were turned over like this at one point, okay? Let's put it on the other side for the camera. Is the strangest thing. Again, I'm not teaching this. I'm just pointing something out here. He was going for the knife, and you somehow felt that, and you did this, and you rolled over on him, and you kind of locked it here as you maintain this. And you kept your leg like that.
I didn't see anything this way.
Well, but this is only something you will understand to do through a live training like this. It's not something you can say, all right, pull the knife out, lock the leg. Pull the knife out, lock the leg. Repetitiveness, repetitiveness, repetitive. Repeat the technique, repeat the technique. It doesn't happen like that. It's just the understanding of body dynamics and energy. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it to another level. We're going to do it from the ground. So, because it means a lot of times stuff will end up on the ground. So you can start off on your knees with this drill if you want. Knife. So they start off on their knees. Again, concrete. Okay? Same thing. From the clinch. Do just the facial. The first one we did standing up. Facial acquisition and neck acquisition. Doesn't matter where you end up. Go. Now the transition occurs. One guy goes. So now, this is ground fighting. Now you're starting to understand some position. Look, there's a T position, moving to a side headlock position. Those techniques aren't exactly happening, but what's happening here is constant and consistent facial acquisition, shredding simulation. There's the mount. Look at these. His hands are completely in Nick's face. There was no tactical dismount. There was no buck and roll. There was no trap the arm and the leg. It just happened. It happened why? Because of the constant distraction that's occurring towards the facial area. The absolute need. Hey, look, it's a zipper. No, actually, it's a leaf on his back. And break. Good job. Do you want to show the world your leaf?
They already saw it.
Okay. And on the video? So basically, what did we see here? We saw the mount. We saw the guard. We saw the T position, the side headlock position. It's all there. But in an entirely new light, in a different attempt. There was no, let's move the side headlock and put our leg over here and go for the arm bar and step off, or bucket roll, or slip out the side, or... Right? Why? Because somebody's trying to fucking eat you. Somebody's trying to rip your fucking face off. They're trying to stab you. They're trying to hurt you. The technique vanishes at this point. It's a different ball game. What were you going to say?
I was just understanding good positioning, that's all.
Yeah.
Like getting on top and...
Position is...
That you have.
Absolutely.
It's not so much, I'm not thinking grappling, I'm just thinking best way to be on top of him, more weight, better position to
Yeah.
shred.
Now, you acquire this through grappling. You're not going to get this without the grappling. Grappling is crucial. You got to roll. You got to grapple. You got to understand submissions, positions, so on and so forth. Why? In order to be able to do this, it's what you do with that grappling that becomes important. If you maintain and stick to it, you're working within a realm or a faction of a style or a system like BJJ or catch or Greco or whatever. Step outside those boundaries. The actual world of fighting is much deeper and more vast than any style or system. So you need to be able to explore combat in its entirety. And combat has 3 levels or 3 sums to the whole. Sum number 1 is the pre-contact indicators, the pre-contact psychological warfare. Sum of number 2 is the physical, the sparring in all ranges, independently, together, mixed, the alive drills, cardiovascular conditioning, muscular endurance, athletic performance, so on and so forth. The last is the aftermath. What are the results of your actions, legally, ethically, morally speaking? Witnesses, law enforcement officers, lawyers, how do you deal with that stuff afterwards? The revenge factor, is the person you just beat the shit out of going to be looking for you? All this is very, very crucial to understand. If you're only working one of those 3 sums or 2 of those 3 sums, you're not complete any longer. You're not exploring personal protection as a whole, self-defense truly as a whole. You're exploring parts of it, but not in its entirety. And if you're not exploring in its entirety, you're not at your peak level in understanding how to enhance your survivability. God forbid anything should happen. And there's a lot of people out there who say, if you lead a healthy living and a clean life, and you don't hang out in certain neighborhoods or bars or whatever, that you shouldn't, you'll never face a violent confrontation. By that logic, let me state that if you rarely cook and order out a lot, and no one in your family smokes, you don't need fire insurance or a fire alarm. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to continue. So actually what Helen's going to do now, she's going to fade out, and we're going to fade back in with another drill. Are you fading out? All right, we're back. We just had to refresh. Okay. We're going to pick up where we left off. A couple of other drills. You could take this from a disconnected position also. We've covered some of this in the other shredder tape. However, I'm going to explain this also. The shredder's behavioral... I'm fucking up here. Sorry. The delivery system for the shredder in a training atmosphere, sparring atmosphere, competitive atmosphere, if you want, is the physical side. Okay? The boxing range, the kicking range, the grappling range, so on and so forth. On the street, it's the behavioral. It's behaviorally rooted. How are you going to deliver the shredder is how are you going to get your opponent, behaviorally speaking, to get close to you, so on and so forth, using psychological tactics and whatnot. Now what happens is that at the close quarter range, my partner, my opponent's going to be mouthing off. He's going to be coming at me. There are 2 types of mindsets you're going to have, depending on the situation, your perception, your awareness, your state of mind in the moment, the time of day, so on and so forth. Now, what happens is that you're either going to be in a certainty mode where you're going, fuck this, I got to drop the guy, I'm going preemptive. You can't always go preemptive if the situation doesn't necessarily call for it. This person might just be setting you up, but you don't know it. He's just talking to you going, hey man, what the fuck? You looking at my girlfriend over there, and blah, blah, blah. And out of the blue, he might just fucking swing a sucker punch at you. Guy walks up to you and goes, hey man, you can't just drill him and go preemptive. It's, legally speaking, doesn't make much sense. So you need to gauge sometimes the situation. How you do that is through proper body language, developing your passive stance, fencing your opponent out, as Jeff Thompson states, keeping him on the outside a little bit. Now, what happens is that if he decides to sucker punch me or ambush me, a surprise attack where a stimulus is introduced too quickly, you're going to have a flinch reaction, a reflexive response. There's no 2 ways about it. It's biology. It's what we do. We flinch. We reflexively protect ourselves. The key is in understanding how to take that flinch mechanism, take that reflexive response, and turn it into a combative one as early as possible. Okay? And then, how do we launch the shredder from there? Now, if I'm going to go preemptive, great. What I want to do is if I go preemptive and I want to maintain my opponent to shred him, I need to do two things, anchor and shred at the same time. Okay? So if I'm talking to him here and I was going to go for the shredder, he's mouthing off, he's coming in at me, I'm going to step in right here, and here's the shred. It begins. I'm anchored. Look at his position. I just bent his neck back, I clawed his fucking eyes out, and I've got him trapped. And now, if I want, I can start manipulating his head, his body, so on and so forth, by ear, by the eyes, and whatever I wish. Tooling, target development, shredder drill, so on and so forth will tell you what to do from there and the moment at hand. Now, if he's going to come at me and he's just talking and mouthing off and I'm just trying to gauge the situation, because going preemptive with no tactical plan in advance, without an understanding of your awareness, situational environment, situational awareness, environmental awareness, so on and so forth, could prove to be fatal, as it did for many other people in the past, unfortunately and sadly. Russian martial artist in New York, mugged by two people, him and his wife. Make a long story short, the guy has a gun on him. He miraculously kicks the gun out of the guy's hand, gets into a clinch with him. The other guy's partner pulls out a gun, 20-year-old girl, shoots the fucker and kills him. Okay? Sad. It's too bad. Why? He went preemptive. He wasn't thinking. No tactical awareness. No situational awareness. There's no pre-plan. No psychological warfare. Nothing. They were mugging him for his wife's purse. His response? An immediate physical response. Warrior's my ass. Okay? This whole warrior thing, yeah, to a degree, it's good. But understand that a warrior has to be strategic and tactical, and not just a mindless brute. So what you need to do is you need to understand how to set this up. If he's coming in at me and I'm talking to him, let's say Nick, who is sitting over there, who you can't see who's off camera, is his buddy, and he's watching the whole thing. Now, if I'm not certain of what's going on, and I didn't pick up on this, because I didn't look around and make sure what was going on, and he comes over to me, he goes, hey, you fucking asshole, I go, fuck you, man, and start to shred him, and all of a sudden, I wasn't paying attention to Nick, so I'm hacking this guy away, I go, rock, 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 boom, and all of a sudden, I've got this guy behind me. Now, what if that was a knife in my back? Right? No tactical awareness, no situational awareness, no environmental awareness. What happens now? I get stabbed in the back, I get blindsided. But if I understand he's mouthing off at me and he's shoving me, I've got to dodge my passive stance. I start to look around. I see this guy over there eyeballing me. They start to communicate as he's mouthing off, blah, blah, blah. Now I have a lot more information to deal with. Does he have a weapon? I don't know. I need to understand this. If he does, what kind? Is it a gun? Will he pull out and start to shoot? Which way am I going to run? What's concealment and what's cover? I don't know. I've got to figure all this out in a blink of an eye. But if my training doesn't replicate this, and all I do is always go, ah! I always go, boom! And it's, if I'm always doing this, then this is how I'm going to react. Okay? So it's important to gauge both reaction. Work with your reflexive response, work preemptive. You've got to do both. There are no absolutes, once again. So basically what you do, have your partner come at you. Hands come up like so. You could break this down many stages. Stage 1, take it very slowly. He comes at me any way he wants. Hold on. He'll come at me any way he wants. I've got to gauge that and react. We freeze. My hands acquire his face as early as possible. Sometimes it might not be the first or instinct or initial move, because sometimes I may be in a position where another tool might come into play. But the means to an end is to get to the shred if possible. So if I'm here, he comes at me with something. Anything you want. Yeah, anything you want. Okay, so we end up here, and this is my reflex. I'm going shit. What I would like you to do is come at me faster and harder. Okay, but let's just, for here. I end up here, my hand goes right for the face. Okay, what I did also, I anchored and I trapped over here, and I found the face. Okay, comes at me with something else. Anything. Okay, he's ending up here like so. I don't know what the fuck that was, but we end up like so. So what I end up here, what happens is that I jam, we freeze like so, my hand goes right for the ear. Right away. Closest weapon, closest target. Okay? Anything else? Whatever. Okay? So what am I doing? I'm just acquiring the face off of every attack. Doesn't matter what it is. Okay? This is where we ended up. Go right for my face, dude. Don't go punch me right here. If you're going to go straight, I'm saying. Yeah, do it. Okay. I get nailed. Okay, throat acquisition. I don't know what he's doing. We're just reacting moment to moment. My hands come up. You could break this down. from a you could even go prior to this where you go, okay, now your goal is going to be grab my shirt, one arm or the other arm, come around, grab my neck, one arm or the other arm, or go for a tackle.
Yeah.
Okay? Now this could replicate any of the following attacks. By going around here, that could be a sucker punch, a headlock. Okay? By going through the center line, grabbing the shirt, pointing at you, poking at you, shoving you, throat grabbing you, straight punching you. Okay? By going two hands through the center line, could be a double-handed choke, double-handed lapel grab. Guy trying to fucking tackle you, take you down, whatever. Alright? So he does this, my hands come here, and I just try to react to these things moment to moment. So he does something, okay? I reflexively move. I don't know what he's going to do, so my reflex is to close off. By doing this, I will either close off or open up. So if I'm doing this, he comes around, I'll open. My hand goes in. He comes, whatever.
We're doing 2 counts, right?
Yeah, whatever. Okay? So all I'm doing here is I'm gauging what he's doing. And as soon as he moves, I react. I just react to what he's doing. I don't know what he's going to do, but I just try to gain an idea. Now, reflexes come into play, instincts come into play, and now what you got to do is take these natural things that you have, instincts, and bind your combative strategy to it. Now, all I'm doing is target acquisition. If he's coming around, I end up here. If he goes through, I end up here. If he comes under, I end up here. So every single time I try to acquire the face. Sometimes it might not be. Okay? Sometimes, let's say he grabs me from far, and I end up doing this, but he's at a far distance. I can't really shred him from here, he's a little far. I might be finger jab him one time, he flinches, now I need to nail other areas. I gotta fucking nail him in the bicep here, I'll hit him in the throat or whatever, and then once we're coming in close, I bridge that gap, now I enter the shredder. And hey, enter the shredder, we can make a movie. Okay. So okay. So again, I'm just trying to react. We try to replicate it as realistic as possible. You add weapons to this. You add multiple attackers to this. How? Let's say, come here a second, Nick. Okay? So now, either or will attack me. I turn around. Okay? I do this. We freeze. One of them comes at me. I acquire the face. Well, now what I'm also doing at the same time is as I'm acquiring the face, I'm moving away from the other opponent. Okay? This is just first level of multiple attacker training while incorporating the shredder. I'm not going to get into multiple attackers instruction over here. You can get that through outnumbered but not a gun, and then adopt the shredder to that stuff. Although the shredder is already present in outnumbered, it's not explained as holistically as it is here or the shredder package. So you start to do this now. So my hands come up. Again, they decide. Anyone.
All right.
Okay? I do this. Okay? So I'm moving around. That went a little bit more dynamic than I expected, but that's fine. You could slow it down and go at your own pace. Now, if he's swinging this way, instinct will be this. Well, you got this guy here, so you got to start to move the other way. I don't have a choice. Now, as you pick stuff up, you start to understand. I have to use this guy as a shield against this guy. What's up? The tape is ending?
Yeah.
Okay, the tape is ending. We're going to put in another tape, and we'll be right back. Okay, so as we were saying, in a multiple attacker situation, this is a designated hitter drill where one of your partners comes in. It's a phase 1 level drill. One of your partners decide who's going to attack you. You turn around, they come at you, you try to reflexively react to that because you don't know what can happen. If I'm talking to these guys and, if he's the leader, I'm going, hey guys, blah, 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 and we're going through the psychodynamics of a multiple attacker situation. If all of a sudden this guy swings, I need to know how to react here. If he comes in for a tackle, I can't, let's say he's coming in for the tackle. If I'm talking here, I can't do this and then start shredding him this way because I've got him behind me. And the only way I can understand that is through actually doing it. Because every time he'll go in for the tackle and I'll do this, and he attacks me, I'll go, oh, fuck, I got screwed here. But don't stop. Fight from it. Defend yourself anyway. Let the scenario continue. Take the beating if that happens. If you defend yourself, great. Get back up, and now you'll have a better understanding to go, oh yeah, don't do this. So, even if he's coming at me this way and he's going out to the outside, I need to fucking do this kind of shit now and step off here. Because I need to understand through experience and not theory that I got to use one guy as a shield. Then you can add more stuff to it. Where, let's say, Lee, take a second break. Let's say Nick has a knife on him. Okay, so now he puts the knife, he conceals it. Okay, I turn around. Now we continue the drill where now he can come at me any way he wants. Tackle, sucker punch, double hand lapel grab, headlock, pull out the knife if he wants to. It doesn't matter. Okay. If something is telegraphed, I go preemptive. If it's not, I react. So my hands are here, and I acquire the face and throat area. So my hands are here, he comes at me with something. Okay? So we come back. Okay? So he went for the blade there, I went preemptive right away, and I moved the hell away from where the knife was. Okay? Why? Because I saw this. Intention to action. So this is a drill you could continuously do. Come a little faster, a little harder. Quicker and faster. Now, sometimes what's going to happen is throughout the drill is that he'll start to reach for the knife. I'll intercept, but he'll pull it out and stab anyway. Okay? But keep in mind this is because of simulation. I'm not really hurting him. Because the second had I actually dug my fingers into his eyes, he wouldn't be stabbing any longer. So what happens is the dynamics continue. And then you could take this and do it with multiples. So Lee, come here a second. Now he's got a blade. He conceals it. They decide which one's going to attack me first. Doesn't matter what your strategy is, as long as you're successfully defending yourself as best as possible. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So now it could be a knife. Any attack they want. Doesn't matter. But one guy only. Okay. So we end up here.
Did I use it?
No, it's a freeze. This drill can be enhanced like any other drill. I'm giving you a blueprint. You take that and you run with it. Add stuff to it. Be creative. Take the ball, flow with it. So now this can go. This can go where he attacks right after. Let's say anyone, doesn't matter. One of you attack, then the other guy attack. Okay.
All right.
This is going to be a lot more dynamic, I imagine. But hands come up. Whoever comes, and then we go from there. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, he grazed me with a punch. Hey, that's the reality of it. Came and nicked my nose almost. But I mean, I'm understanding how to deal with that energy. But again, the shred works. I get into, you can tell by Nick's face. The second they come in, I get my hands in. Always remember, this is simulation. I'm not hurting them. But what you can do is you take it a step further, and a step further, and a step further, where now you can actually simulate the shred, and it's not a facial acquisition anymore. So now it's like, if he's attacking me, and I'm going boom, I'm going to start to really actually, do my work here. Okay, so I know he's not comfortable right now. So I'm going to start to fucking hack him and do my shit. So now we get into what we covered in the first tape, and we added to these drills. Remember, these are shredder enhancer drills. It's not a simulated shredder. Okay? We're going to take a look at how women can shred. So we're going to take a look at Helen, who's going to be ripping into these poor souls. And I'll be explaining stuff as we go along. How does the shredder work with rape? It's a phenomenal tool. You'll see in a second. What we're going to do is we're going to fade out and come back and work with Helen. You guys okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. We're going to work with Helen a little bit, and somebody's going to bleed. That's how it always happens. Now, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at rape, the dynamics of rape. In the shredder package and the manual, I state that if every woman on earth knew how to shred, rape wouldn't exist. I'll explain to you why, and why do I firmly believe in that and stand by that. First of all, rape is a very close quarter affair. Unless the guy's got a 17-inch... Anyway, it's got to be done here, okay? So let's say if she's... It's probably going to happen on the ground also. Now, this is where the shredder comes in. Now, if I'm going to rape her, now I could be mounted on her to control her and to mouth off and to tell her to be, to shut her face and not to fucking move or I'll kill her and the rest of the stuff. Again, I'm not going to get into the psychodynamics of rape. This could be fun in a rape prevention package. I don't like to rehash my materials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it from the shredder perspective right off the bat. From here, I'm going to be doing, your attacker's going to be doing a couple of things. He might have your arms pinned. He might be mouthing off. He might have you by the throat. He might have cracked you a couple of times, so on and so forth. In order to actually rape you, he needs to insert his penis into your vagina. Okay? So basically, he's got to get here, one way or another. It could also be done from behind, where he's got her by the hair or pinned against the wall, etc. Now, grappling has a role in this. Absolutely. Aspects of it, some tools of grappling become important. The guard is a good tool to use in rape. But you don't want to transition from a guard to an armbar in a rape. It's just not going to happen. It's not. The psychodynamics of being raped is probably bar none one of the worst things a woman could ever experience or go through in her life. The amount of fear, trauma, and psychological mayhem that she's going to be going through is not going to permit her to push away, get the arm, so on and so forth. Pure gross motor. That's all you're left with. All you want to do is you want to attack. You want to attack eyes, throat, ear, face, so on and so forth. You gotta get out. So if I'm going to be raping her here, I need to get inside of her. Okay? So I've got to pin her down, hold her by her throat, fucking talk to her, blah, blah, blah. She can try to armbar me. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but it's not something I would highly recommend. Okay? Now, it's an extreme close quarter affair. I might be grabbing her by her hair. She might have already gone passive, borderline submissive, because, hell, there's a stranger or somebody who she thought she could trust on top of her, violating her. And so if I'm over here, she's just got to find, again, target acquisition. So it doesn't matter where I'm at, she'll be able to reach my face, and she'll be able to reach my eyes, my throat, so on and so forth. Now, one thing you want to do right away is get the guard. Lock your legs behind. Boom. Do this. Why? You've got control to a certain degree. You can pull the guy out, and you can pull him back in, and you can fuck with the balance a lot. Okay? Now, what we were doing standing up a minute ago is basically going through reflexive response training. Now, she can do the same thing over here. Here's a drill that can also be done off the guard if you want, or just off this position. Now, if I'm over here, she gets her hands passive stance formation, like so. Okay? Now, if I'm trying to strike her, she's going to acquire my face and throat. So we're going to turn around like so you can see what's going on. So if I'm going for her now, she's doing this, I'm going to attack you, you just acquire my face and throat. So if I'm going to go fucking nail her here, she's going right away from my eyes and throat. If I'm going to try to fucking snuggle her here, what's she doing? Look at the use of the legs across my rib cage. She's got her shin. She attacks my face and throat right away. Now, this isn't thought process. She's not thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not thinking place leg across ribs. You're doing. You're not thinking, you're doing. You're doing because this is what your body is doing instinctively and naturally to protect itself, to stop this force from coming in. So what happens is the instinct covers and kicks in, and she reacts. What we do, we bind the combative strategy to that instinct, the attack. Now, if I'm going to be going inside of her and I'm fucking grabbing her here, and she grabs on, if I'm trying to rape her, I'm going, listen, you fucking horrible, look at the stuff, look what's happening here. Now, she's going for my eyes. Now, even if I'm going, fuck you, and I'm doing this thing, look at the control she has. Again, instinct. What is are you cognitively processing, get him out of the way, or are you just saying, get him the fuck out of the way?
Get him the fuck out of the way.
Excellent. So now look at the position I end up in. It doesn't matter what happens. Even if I'm pinning her arm here, she's got, oh, okay, that hurts. She's got a nice chunk of meat here. It's going to get me to flinch. It's not going to kill me. It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to stop me, but it will get me to do this. Now all she's looking for is to get that other hand right into my face. How's she going to do that? Just sneak across here. Look at the position we're in here. Okay? She's got her hands right in my eyes and face. It doesn't matter what I'm doing here or how I'm going to move. Oh, God, I'm going to get stuff. As you can see, I'm getting mauled. So it doesn't matter how we end up off the ground. Stand up a second. Now, if, let's say, I'm going to grab her by the hair and I want to force her down to her knees, right? I'm going, on your knees, you fucking cunt.
Okay.
On your fucking knees now, bitch. Get the fuck down or I'll fucking kill you. Suck my dick. Okay? Now look at that. Preemptive strike, never even saw it coming. Okay? So she nailed me really hard, which is good. And her fingers came right into my eyes. Now, if I'm doing this and she's going down, what she's doing is she's being, to a degree, strategically compliant. Okay? Strategic compliance. She's doing it to get me to believe that I've got her under control. She's playing with my ego. So I'm doing this, she goes on her knees, I'm talking to her and I'm mouthing off, I'm saying, suck my butt. So I might be unzipping, or I might say, unzip my zipper or whatever. I said, don't fucking move or I'll kill you. Now, this hand will fire. I'll never see that coming. Ever. If she nails me underneath my line of, my field of vision, eyes or throat, I'm going to flinch, I'm going to react. What does she do? She anchors and she's tearing away. Now, I'll tell you, just her grabbing me right now hurts. It is relatively 10 times worse to be shredded by a woman than it is by a man because of the nails. It's just absolutely brutal. It kills. Now, let's look at this, how this works full out. Lee, put on a helmet. Now we're going to put on a helmet and Helen's going to go fucking apeshit on him. And he's like fucking, honestly speaking, seriously, rape her. That's your goal. Seriously, take her fucking pants off. Dude, I'm not shitting you. Take her pants off and fucking shake your... Hey, if it works, we're selling porn today. Okay? I don't... Just do it. Do it.
All right.
Forget what she's...
Off the ground?
Yeah, off the... Yeah. Fuck it, standing up. If you want, let's take it standing up, then we'll take it off the ground, then we'll take it from many different positions. Keep going. Let's go.
Sorry, what, Nick?
The yellow.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fine. Just it'll run out. It's fine. Okay, keep it on.
okay. So just like that,
Just fucking rape her. Take her down, rape her.
Okay.
Good job. Excellent.
I could have gotten away a while ago, but I was having fun.
It is safer to ask her out on a date. Okay. Now we're going to take it from the ground. Any way you want. Put yourself in the most positive position you feel, or the powerful position you feel you could be in. I want you, Lee, take her fucking pants off, penetrate her, fucking rape her.
All right.
Go, whatever you want.
You all right?
Yeah.
You okay?
How you doing, Lee? This is why he's my stunt double. Next time we'll dress you like
That's
this.
just what
Hi,
I'm feeling
Rich.
too, because I mean, I know you're not biting for real,
Yeah.
but all the growling, imagine if that was biting as well. So.
Yeah.
Growling is an integral part to shredding because it's psychologically disheartening. It really, really sends a very strong message. You growl like a fucking animal like that, you will get the person to freak out. It's like they're going to think they're dealing with a Tasmanian devil. It's like, it's really weird. I mean, watching it on tape is very, very different than having somebody really this close to your ear biting you and going and growling as they're doing it. It really sends a very, very strong message. You want to talk about predator-prey switch? There you go. Let's try another one. Grab her by the hair, take her down to the ground, rape her.
I tried that in the first one.
Oh, well, go start from your knees then.
Okay.
Grab her hair. No, you stand
Oh,
up.
I'm sorry,
Yeah. Grab her hair. Grab her hair. Get her to... Good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Is there anything you can do?
I'm trying.
Seriously, honestly,
Yeah,
you're giving it your all.
Yeah.
It's critical to give it your all. Give it everything you've got, and then you'll understand if something works or not. Now, again, all she's doing is adopting all the drills we've covered so far in this tape, all of the shredder principles and concepts, and putting it together in this overall situation. Hands are magnetically going towards the face. Now, imagine that wasn't there. And can I see your ribs for a second? Because I'm sure she dug in there, right?
On the side.
I don't know if you can you zoom into this?
Yep.
I'm getting better though.
Can you see this, Nick?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just his ribs, right? I mean, let me see your other side. Yeah, same thing, right all across his back. Imagine that in the face. Imagine that in your eyes. Imagine that ripping your ear off. It really feels like a sunburn times 150. It's like it's disgusting. And literally speaking, there's nothing the person will be able to do. Again, applying the shredder in these situations, it's probably bar none so far as we've seen, one of the best things you can do. Extreme close quarters, shred. There's no two ways about it. Adopt it as much as you can. But understand that it cannot be used without other elements. It is not just this stuff here. It's a lot more than that. Working it against the ground is another thing. You can, thank you, Helen, you can take over. Working it on the ground is a whole other ball game. It doesn't matter what position I'm in. Play with the stuff. Use your grappling skills. We're over here. Let's say I got him my feet underneath his inner thighs, open guard, right? If you want to call it that. I don't know what the names are. I'm not name specific. I got the guy on top of me. Okay? I can have him try to wail on me, do whatever. Go for it. Great. Okay? He's just going ape shit on me, and I'm hugging him here. Now, yeah, I can work around with my legs and stuff, but rather than going for arm bars and stuff, I'm going to rip here and tear. But I need to understand the positioning and what I'm doing here. Okay? I need to understand grappling. I need to use it. I need to adopt the shredder and tag it to it. And if you use it, it's absolutely lethal. And the beautiful thing about it also is that everything you're seeing us do on tape today, in this tape and in the shredder package, is all simulation, and it still works. So you can actually use the shredder for minimal force applications, where you're not really severely hurting the person, but you're disorienting him, creating panic and defensive disengagement, in order to get him into any kind of compliance hold you wish, from chokes to locks to compliance tactics. Be creative. It flows. It's integratable. That's the beautiful thing about this tool. You can do it off the mount. You can do it off the T position. If, let's say he's teed on me, come this way. He's teed, right? So he's going where he's put your elbow here. He's putting his elbow here. He's trying to mount me or do whatever. He's going for that arm lock. What's this hand doing? Well, my legs are trying to interfere and not allow him to get up on me. What's this doing? Grabbing onto his laundry or his body? Or is it going to rip into his eyeballs here? Look at the position now. Look at what happened to him. He's not teed anymore. Where are his hands? He's like, get him the fuck off me. Now if I want to bust his fingers and rip him the fuck apart like so, and then get on top of him and go, and then get up, I'll do it. My goal is to stand. So drills you can do is use the shredder from every grappling position you can think of, from the 20,000 fucking guards that exist out there. Play with it. From the mount, from the dismounts, from the tee, from the headlocks, from the clinch. While your partner is clinched, trying to overhook and underhook and hip toss you and take you down, look at how many different ways you can get in and rip and tear and shred the guy. Acquire it. Be creative. The best thing I can teach, what is that saying in religion? Teach what is it? Something about fishing. Buy a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, you feed him for life. I'm trying to teach you how to fish, right? So take this, Whatever style you do, whatever system, whether it's traditional, eclectic, reality-based, or mixed martial art, the shredder is adaptable to every single one of these. Use whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Hell, let's have fun here. Do this. Traditional karate. How can we shred from a traditional karate position? I do my block. I'll round kick him. And then I shred. Okay. Joke's over. Okay, maybe it's not really applicable to these styles, but you understand what I'm saying. Be creative with this stuff. Apply it. Grapple. I always shred when I grapple. Not full out, but I try to get my hands in my opponent's face. Anytime, every time. I go for the submissions. I play with the stuff, but I will get my hand as soon as I can in there, and I continue my grappling game. I continue the grappling game. I'll take them down, I'll go for the submissions, I'll grapple for half an hour. But as often as I can, I program the shredder and the tools. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this tape. You got to watch it several times in order to pick up every single drill we have in it. Because, I mean, there's a lot of information. And please remember, if it seems a little bit everywhere, it is. It's my style of teaching. It's how I am. But you can pick things up from here and adopt them and expand on them and play with it as much as you can and add it to your arsenal. Really, if you have any questions, email us. Go to Senshido.com, go to the contact us page, email me. Call me toll free, call me collect. I'll answer all your questions. Come to my forum. I'll answer every question you have. I'll try to enhance your game as much as possible. And keep in mind, stay as open-minded as possible. Don't limit yourself, and remember, there are no absolutes. There are no black and whites. Hope you enjoyed the tape, and thank you for believing.